Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and extract the most important nuggets of knowledge to help you get well-informed fast. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Sarah. Today on Tech Talk Central, we're diving headfirst into uh, a really interesting comparison. We're looking at two powerhouse 4K webcams.
Yeah, and these aren't just your average, clip-on cameras. They're pretty crucial tools now, right, for professional meetings, online teaching, even streaming.
Absolutely. They can really define your presence online.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack the features, the performance, and, well, the overall value of two big contenders.
Yeah.
The Insta360 Link 2C and the Logitech MX Brio.
We've gone through the specs, looked at reviews, tons of user feedback, really trying to get the full picture for you.
Right. We want to give you the essential insights so you can figure out which one might actually elevate your setup.
Yeah.
Okay, let's explore this. So first up, we're looking at two premium 4K webcams. They're both aiming for that top spot.
Definitely competitive.
On one side, you've got the Insta360 Link 2C. That one's priced at $149.99.
And on the other, the Logitech MX Brio, which comes in a bit higher, $199.99.
So a $50 difference right there.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is, while they both promise that top-tier video quality, they kind of take different paths to get there.
How so?
Well, Insta360, they come from that action camera world, right? So they lean into smart AI features, a bigger sensor, aiming for maybe a more dynamic look.
Okay.
Logitech, though, they're giants in peripherals. They seem to focus more on, robust image enhancement, fine-grained controls, maybe more for the productivity-focused user.
Gotcha. So different philosophies baked in from the start.
Pretty much. And our sources today, like we said, official specs, but also a lot of real-world user reviews.
Perfect. Okay, let's kick things off where it really counts for a webcam. Image quality.
Yeah.
Both boast 4K, but, the devil's in the details, right? What are the nuances here?
You're absolutely right. The Insta360 Link 2C, it has this impressive 12-inch CMOS sensor.
Which is pretty big for a webcam.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that larger sensor size, fundamentally, it just means it can capture more light.
Okay.
Which translates directly to cleaner, clearer images, especially when the lighting isn't perfect. Users are consistently saying things like crisp, clear, stunning appearance.
Nice.
And they really praise its low-light performance. One person specifically said excellent low-light capabilities, and that the sensor size makes a huge difference in a darker room.
That's a big deal for home offices that aren't, perfectly lit studios.
Exactly. And it also supports HDR, high dynamic range, so it balances the bright spots and the dark spots in your image at the same time, prevents those washed out windows or super dark shadows.
Is it a more natural look then?
Yeah, more professional, more balanced.
Okay, that's a strong start for the Insta360. How does the MX Brio counter that? It also claims an advanced sensor, right?
It does. The Logitech MX Brio also delivers Ultra HD 4K at 30 frames per second. But interestingly, it offers 1080p at a smoother 60 frames per second.
Okay, so 60 FPS at 1080p. That's a key point for some people.
Definitely. Streamers, anyone who wants really fluid motion might prefer that over just max resolution sometimes. Logitech says it's their most advanced webcam sensor yet, and they talk about having 70% larger pixels.
Larger pixels, not necessarily larger sensor overall.
Right. Different approach. Larger individual pixels also gather more light. Logitech claims this gives you 2x better face visibility and finer details in tricky lighting.
So more focus on making the person look good? Maybe.
That seems to be the angle. It relies heavily on AI enhancement, too. Auto exposure, auto white balance, noise reduction, autofocus, all working in the background.
And what are users saying about the Brio's image?
Generally, really positive, excellent, crystal clear. Some specifically mention how much better it handles colors and low light compared to their older webcams.
Okay, so two different strategies for great 4K. Insta360 with a big sensor for maybe a more natural cinematic feel.
Right, almost like a mini DSLR approach, hardware focused.
And Logitech using larger pixels plus a lot of AI processing to really optimize the image, especially your face, in various conditions.
Exactly. So for you listening, it's kind of a choice. Do you want that more hardware-driven natural look or a really polished AI-enhanced image?
Interesting comparison. All right, moving beyond visuals. Audio. Just as critical, right? Especially for meetings. Bad audio can kill a call.
Oh, absolutely. Can't understand what someone's saying. Doesn't matter how good they look.
So how do these two handle sound capture and noise?
Well, this is where the user feedback gets a bit more varied for both, actually. The Insta360 Link 2C has an AI noise-canceling microphone.
Okay. AI noise canceling.
Yeah.
How does it perform?
It's mixed. Some users are really impressed. They say the microphone cancels noise beautifully. One even said it was better than their headphone mic for meetings.
That's pretty good for built-in.
It is. But then you have other users saying the mic is weak or the audio is just, about par for webcams, nothing special.
Why the difference, do you think?
It often comes down to the environment. A quiet room versus a noisy home office with background sounds. The AI can only do so much, and results vary.
Right, background noise is the real challenge. So if the Insta360 is a mixed bag, how does the Logitech MX Brio do? It has dual mics, right?
Yeah, the MX Brio uses integrated dual beam-forming noise-reducing mics, also AI-assisted.
Beamforming, so it tries to focus on your voice.
That's the idea. Pick up sound from in front of it, ignore the sides and back. And again, opinions vary. Some report perfect noise canceling, amazing quality. One user even said it was very close to their external $50 mic.
Wow, okay.
But then another user described the audio as rather teeny sounding.
Teeny.
Not ideal. Not ideal. So it really brings up that important question for you, the listener. For those really crucial calls, or if you're streaming seriously, are these built-in mics, even with AI, truly enough?
Or do you still need to factor in a dedicated external mic for that consistently professional sound?
Exactly. It seems both webcams have decent AI noise cancellation, but maybe don't bet the farm on the built-in mics if audio quality is absolutely paramount for you.
Good advice. Okay, let's move on to smart features. This is where these things really start to feel, well, smart, and not just like basic cameras. This gets really interesting.
Totally agree. And the Insta360 Link 2C really packs in the AI here. It has auto framing.
What's that do?
It automatically zooms and adjusts the frame to keep you centered, whether you're alone and maybe pacing a bit or if there are multiple people in the shot.
Oh, nice. So you don't have to fiddle with zoom mid-call.
Exactly. Lets you focus. And even cooler, you can control it with hand gestures.
Hand gestures. Seriously.
Yeah. Simple gestures for AI tracking, for zooming, even activating specific modes like whiteboard mode.
Whiteboard mode. How does that work?
If you point it at a whiteboard, it doesn't just frame it, it enhances the contrast and clarity. Makes drawings or writing super readable for people watching remotely.
Okay, that's genuinely useful for collaboration or teaching.
Definitely. It also has desk view mode, good for showing stuff on your desk, and 4K portrait mode.
Portrait mode, like for phones.
Yeah, perfect for creating content for TikTok or Instagram Reels directly. Plus, it has a simple privacy switch, and you fine-tune everything in their Link controller software. Users say it lets you really dial in your look.
That sounds incredibly feature-rich, especially the AI tracking in those specialized modes. How does the MX Brio compete on the smart front?
The MX Brio also has its intelligent features, but may be focused a bit differently. The AI primarily works on refining that core image quality we talked about, auto exposure, white balance, noise reduction.
So less about camera movement, more about image processing.
Generally, yeah. But where it empowers the user is with its fine controls in the Logi options plus software.
Fine controls.
It lets you manually adjust things like ISO, shutter speed, tint, vibrance, really granular control.
Ah, so that's for people who want to dial in a very specific look manually.
Exactly. If you want to perfectly match your lighting or achieve a certain aesthetic, and its standout feature is probably show mode.
Show mode.
You just physically tilt the webcam down, and it automatically flips the image and focuses on your desk. Great for sharing notes, sketches, physical objects.
Oh, that's clever. Just tilt it down. Simpler than desk view, maybe?
Potentially simpler, yeah. Less reliant on software interpretation. For privacy, the Brio has that built-in rotating lens cover. Very physical, very obvious.
I just twist it shut.
Connects via USB-C, has a magnetic mount that's also tripod compatible. And it's certified for Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, which is important for business users.
Okay, so interesting contrast again. Insta360 leans into AI movement, gestures, and creative modes. Logitech offers deep manual image control and that clever physical show mode tilt.
Pretty much sums it up. And both have good privacy solutions, just different types, software switch versus physical cover. The software control on both is a big step up from basic webcams, too.
Definitely. Okay, what about just using them day to day? Setup, build quality, reliability. How do they feel as daily drivers?
Good question. The Insta360 Link 2C generally gets high marks here. Users talk about its strong build, intuitive software, easy setup.
Easy setup is always good.
Yeah, described as small, easy to use. People seem to like the magnetic mount for adjusting the angle easily. Setup is often just plug and play. One user said they didn't even need the instructions.
That's a good sign. Any downsides mentioned?
The main, maybe slightly picky one was someone noting the white camera came with a black USB cord, which kind of messed up their desk aesthetic.
Ah, the little details. Okay, understandable though. And Logitech's build and daily use.
The MX Brio is frequently described as very nicely made, solid, robust. One person said it feels heavier than expected, which usually implies quality materials.
Right, feels substantial.
Yeah. Installation is also generally easy, plug and play. People appreciate that integrated privacy shutter, too.
But were there any quirks reported with the Brio?
There were a few things mentioned. Some isolated issues with Windows Hello compatibility, the face login feature.
Up.
And a few reports of the adhesive on the monitor mount being a bit weak, especially on curved screens. Some people had to use their own adhesive strips.
Yeah, curved monitors can be tricky for mounts.
Definitely. And maybe a few scattered reports of connection issues with specific video software, needing a quick unplug or plug.
Okay, so both seem well built overall. Insta360, perhaps slightly simpler, maybe fewer reported quirks. Brio feels robust, but maybe has a couple more potential setup hiccups depending on your system or monitor.
That seems like a fair summary based on the user feedback, yeah.
All right, let's get to the bottom line for many folks. Price and value. We've got that $50 gap, $149.99 for the Link 2C, $199.99 for the MX Brio. Is the extra cost justified?
This is always subjective, right? Value perception. For the Insta360 Link 2C at $150, feedback is mixed on value. Some actually called it the best webcam under $130, which is funny because it costs more.
Meaning they felt the features justified an even higher price compared to cheaper options.
That's how it reads, yeah. They felt it was worth if you a YouTuber or working remotely, but then others just straight up called it expensive for a webcam.
So it depends if you value those specific AI features, maybe.
I think so. If you'll use the tracking and modes, maybe it feels worth it. If you just need a good 4K image, maybe less so.
And the Logitech MX Brio at $200. How's the value perception there?
Similarly varied. Some find it well worth the money, probably one of the best for the price, even if they admit it might be overkill for their needs.
So they see the quality and features even if they don't use everything.
Right. But others definitely consider it very expensive and felt the feature set didn't quite justify that higher cost for them.
So it really comes down to the individual user.
Absolutely. For you, the listener, you have to ask, are the Brio's specific advantages maybe slightly better low-light detail according to Logitech, the 1080p 60pp as option, the fine manual controls, show mode, are those worth the after $50?
Or does the Insta360 Link 2C offer, 90% of what you need with its great sensor, AI tracking, and unique modes, all at a lower price point?
That's the decision. It really depends on which feature set clicks best with your workflow, your setup, and yeah, your budget.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the Insta360 Link 2C versus the Logitech MX Brio. It's really clear both are exceptional 4K webcams kind of pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, definitely top-tier stuff. But as we saw, they bring different strengths. Insta360 with that clever AI tracking, gesture control, almost like having a mini robot camera operator.
Right. And Logitech with its really solid image processing, those deep manual controls, and the super practical show mode.
So your choice really hinges on what you prioritize. Is it the dynamic freedom of AI tracking and those creative modes? Makes you more engaging, maybe?
Or do you prefer that absolute consistency, the ability to tweak every image setting manually, and maybe easily share physical things with show mode?
Which features really jump out for your daily calls, your content creation, your online meetings? That's the question to ponder.
We really hope this deep dive gave you the clarity you need to make an informed decision. And hey, for more tech insights and comparisons, just like this one.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel, Tech Talk Central.
And if you want to check out the latest prices or find deals on either the Insta360 Link 2C or the Logitech MX Brio.
Yep, be sure to check out the links we put down in the description below. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.